Hello guys, what up and welcome to another video. Hope you guys have had a fantastic new year, and with the new year I wanted to do some new build guide videos that I haven't seen out there that I really enjoyed playing through. I have a couple of buddies of mine asking for some tips and tricks, so without further ado, here is the Fear Bard. The Fear Bard or Bow Bard is going to be a bard that's going to do a ton of damage with its subclass using its Bardic Inspiration basically as a mechanic to do more damage and shoot a lot more times. You'll be able to shoot 4 times a turn, and you'll be able to get your Bardic Inspirations back on a short rest. So he does quite a bit of Nova damage and a ton of CC and control after that, and it's a really fun little class. So this is a late game build. Most of the stuff you're going to need is going to be late Act 2 or middle Act 2, Act 3, like intro Act 3 things, and then you're kind of free from there on out. So once you hit Act 3, you can run this build all the way through Act 3. So I recommend running something like Fighter or Hunter to just basically, pull on the strength of that early on in the game until you at least hit level 6. All right, so first level, we're going to start with Bard. For cantrips, I've got Friends and Minor Illusion, but feel free to take whatever you want. I imagine this as being your main character, so it's really nice to have Friends for those hard checks. Now you do need to be really careful with Friends because in honor mode they could turn against you, so make sure once you do what you need to do with those people, just go ahead and leave that area for a while, and then you can come back later and you shouldn't have any issues then. So for spells, I've already got 4 selected here. So we are going to go Longstrider, so we get the buff for our party, which is really nice. Healing Word, because it's always good to be able to pick up one of your buddies on a bonus action. And then we're going to take 2 spells that don't get taken as much, Dissonant Whispers and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. The reason why we're taking these is they are good CC abilities. We're going to have a very high spell DC, and on top of that, we're going to get away with casting these as a bonus action. Starting instrument, pick whatever you want. I'm a big fan of the violin. And then let's go into our points. So I've got a 10 strength, an 8 in dex, 16 con, 10 intelligence, 13 wisdom, and 17 charisma. I put the +2 in charisma and the +1 in con just to get me up there. Again, I am going to be, well, I haven't said this yet, but we're going to be wearing the dexterity gloves, so I don't have to worry about dexterity. It allows me to dump it. And that way we'll have an 18 dexterity right out the bat. We don't have to worry about anything else. For skills, really use whatever you want. For me, I like sleight of hand because if it's the character I'm running around with, it's nice to just be able to lockpick right out the bat. And I'm going to take, the social skills, deception, intimidation, persuasion, those type of things. But again, feel free to take whatever you think it is or think you want. This is an RP game, right? All right, so now let's go through the level up process here. So what you're going to want to do here is you're going to go Bard all the way through to 6, and I'll show you why here in a second. So when you hit 2, start getting bonuses. You get Jack of all trades, which gives you a bonus of half your proficiency to every ability check. And then you get extra Song of Rest, so now you're getting 3 short rests per play or per day. So that's going to be really nice for pairing with the Bard. Pairing with the Warlock. For your next spell, I'm also going to take a spell that you don't see as often. I'm taking Heroism. I find there's a few spells or a few fights where not being able to or when you're frightened, it kind of messes up a lot of your plans. So being able to take Heroism's really nice for that ability. Also add some temp HP, is a concentration, so you be careful with that because you'll use concentration on whatever else you're running. But yeah, so Heroism's great, and again, with this build, we'll be able to do it as a bonus action. I'll explain why here in a little bit. So yeah, accept. Let's go into Bard level 3. This is where it starts getting interesting. So we are going to go College of Swords. And the reason why we're doing it is this ability right here, Slashing Flourish Range. So basically, it's supposed to be so you can shoot 2 enemies at once. But guess what? You can do it at the same enemy both times. So it's actually really nice to be able to do that. For our spells, Hold Person is another fantastic spell. Just sets up your allies for so much stuff. And fighting style, we're going to go dueling. 2-weapon fighting is fine, but I find that a lot of times I want to use my bonus action for other things. And especially in this build, we're going to be using our bonus action for other stuff. So being able to throw a shield on and just get a little extra damage with whatever we're using is fantastic. All right, so I believe that's everything for level 3. Let's continue on to level 4 where we are going to pick up our first feat. So we'll get another cantrip. Again, take what you want. We'll throw Vicious Mockery on. Why not? So spell, something like enhance ability is fantastic. Phantasmal Force is also really good, but Phantasmal Force is concentration. I'm going to go ahead and take invisibility. I know it's concentration as well, but it's always nice to throw out a bunch of shots and then go invisible, have them come look for you. For my feat, let's go ahead and go with an ASI here. We're going to hit Wisdom and Charisma. Alternatively, there is some people might want to go Sharpshooter here. I'm not a huge fan of Sharpshooter, especially in this type of game mode, because their ACs are really high to begin with. Yeah, the 10 damage is nice, but you're going to be doing a lot of damage anyways, so I don't know. For me, it's just I'd rather have the consistency over the big Nova damage. So let's go ahead and lock that in. Going up to level 5. Level 5 is a really big level for us, especially if we're leveling as Bard. So you get Font of Inspiration. So you can get all your Bardic Inspirations back on just a short rest now. And then on top of that, your Bardic Inspiration will upgrade to a D8, which for us will equate to more damage. Also, we unlock level 3 spells, which will give us Fear, which is a nice little AoE concentration spell that is fantastic. It'll let us do quite a bit of stuff. So let's go ahead and lock in Fear. Sorry, I was just thinking about something else too. All right, and we close in onto level 6. Level 6 is also big because you get your subclass feature, which means we get another attack. See if we can see it here. We also get Counter Charm, which will give people advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. So at this point in time, you could also drop Heroism if you like. I don't know if there's a lot of great options for us to replace that with. Hypnotic Pattern's a really good option here for a level 3 spell. Alternatively, you could take Enthrall, or maybe if you really wanted to speak with animals, or Featherfall, something like that, or Disguise Self. Really, whatever you want at this point in time. We're going to go ahead and grab Hypnotic Pattern. And again, like I said, this is a good time to go ahead and replace Heroism now, because again, you can just Counter Charm if you'd like to. Heroism's also still a great choice to hang on to as well. All right, so now that we have 6 levels in Bard, we're going to go ahead and add a class here. We'll add the Fighter. And for our fighting style, of course, you know, we're shooting bows, so it might as well be archery. And I kind of debated how I wanted to do this, but I think for me, the best way to do it is we're going to go ahead and stop here with Fighter. We're just going to pick up Action Surge, and that's all we need in Fighter. So it's going to give us medium armor, shields, and the extra Action Surge every short rest. So now we are pretty much a short rest monster. All right, level 7, we are going to unlock our 4th level spell slot. Again, it's kind of the same thing. So I really like Confusion here for the same reason I'm liking other stuff, right? Being able to shoot and use my action to attack, and then use my bonus action to CC people is very powerful. Yes, you'll go through a lot of your spell slots really quickly, but this gives you the option to deal with fights or get out of fights that you probably wouldn't have been able to fight through without these bonuses. All right. From that, we're just going to keep running through Bard. Again, choose whatever spells you like. I'm going to grab Greater Invisibility just for some shenanigans. And here, again, you can take either 2 points to increase your spell saving throws against people. You could grab 2 points in Constitution to help out with other things. Alternatively, you could choose... where's it at? Alternatively, you could choose Warcaster. Warcaster is fantastic to help you maintain saving throws, because when you're holding saving throws, especially in honor mode, the enemies when you're holding concentration, the enemies are going to want to attack you. Again, Warcaster is a fantastic one. Top's a good option here. I'm going to go ahead and just max out Charisma here. Choose really whatever you want out of these options. All right, we're closing in at the end of leveling. So for level 5, we're going to grab Dominate Person. And I'm also going to pull out that Heroism. And we're going to change in. And I've debated on a few different options, but I really like Hold Monster here. Greater Restoration is really good to kind of help heal someone out. And also Cure Mass Wounds is fantastic as well. And then for our final level in Bard, this is where we get a bunch of other stuffs, right? So we're going to get some more skills for expertise. So, I mean, bards are just skill monkeys. It's fantastic. Get another feat. Sure, we'll take light. And then finally, we get another spell. We'll go ahead and take Hold Monster because I guess it didn't register earlier. Again, another great option is Cure Mass Wounds. And this is where we will unlock magical secrets, where you get some really cool options. Now, unique to Bard at level 10 is this Banishing Smite. I really like it. It's a fun little damage thing you can do with your 5th level spell slots when you're out of Bardic Inspirations after you've fought or shot all your shots. Alternatively, Conjure Elemental is really nice, just having another guy help fighting for you. Counterspell is a fantastic option. I won't recommend haste as much here because you're only going to get 1 extra attack. Now, it works a lot better on a spellcaster, so that's fine. Slow is another fantastic one. It is transmutation, so you're not going to be able to kind of do the bonus action attack with it. But it's still a fantastic spell. So for this, we're just going to go ahead and go with Banishing Smite and Counterspell, just to help, again, control the battlefield. Also, I didn't mention this, Spirit Guardians is fantastic for dealing with AoE, because this build doesn't have a ton of AoE, and you'll find that Fear doesn't work as well against some options. So maybe you want to grab, you're going to keep that, or grab Spirit Guardians over Counterspell, or if you've already got someone that's doing Counterspell, or you're just going to use Tadpoles. So we're going to go and pick these up, hit accept. And now that is the complete build. All right, let's go ahead and go through the equipment for our character. So this character is very flexible. He can get away with all kinds of different gear. Now I do have some of the best gear in the game on him, and this will kind of be your final end game goals. But you can get away with all kinds of lower, like weaker stuff, and it's fantastic. Now, the first item here is a little green that you get right at the beginning of Act 2. It's very easy to get. You just go to the blacksmith and go down in the blacksmith in Act 2, and you'll be able to find it. And it is really what makes the build run so much. So it is the Helmet of Arcane Acuity. So whenever you deal weapon with it, or damage with a weapon attack, you gain Arcane Acuity for 2 turns. What does that mean? So Arcane Acuity is +1 to spell attack rolls and spell DC. So if you look at my, oops, there it is. My spell save DC is a 17. That's pretty solid. But imagine a 27. All right, that is the most important item that you're going to need on this. So let's go ahead and go into my next item. So the cloak doesn't matter. I have the Nymph Cloak on here. The reason why I have this is because Dominate Person is an enchantment spell. So you can get away with casting it as a bonus action. It's really strong. Next, for your armor, you can start getting medium armor that lets you add max dexterity somewhere in Act 2. Like, I believe as soon as you go to Last Light. And it just look for the words that say exotic material. So you just want something that gives you a high AC. So if you look here, my AC with a shield is 23, which is, I mean, that's really high. And then I am using the Gloves of Dexterity. If you do this build without it, obviously you're going to want a bunch of dex. I kind of just felt like I wanted a bunch of everything. So I figured picking up the Gloves of Dexterity opens up a lot of stuff for me. Alternatively, you could, instead of investing points in a con, you could use the necklace to make your con a 23. But again, that's later in the game. And then you could make your charisma or your dexterity 20 and your charisma 18 very easily like that. And that kind of just opens up some stuff for you. There's also a really good set of gloves. I'm going to pop them up here in a second. Okay, so these are the Wondrous Gloves. These will increase your AC another point and then give you another use of Bardic Inspiration. So you'll be able to get, what is that, 6 uses of Bardic Inspiration per short rest, which is really solid. So even on a long fight, you'll be able to deal with a lot of stuff. The boots really don't matter. Right now, I've got gain extra momentum, and I can't be knocked prone because prone in this game will stop your concentration. For my necklace, I just have the Amulet of the Harpers, just again to show that you really don't need a lot of the crazy items for this build. It gives you advantage on wisdom saving throws and its shield. It's a great little neck, but I mean, I have a bunch of other ones in here. I've got the Spellcrux. If you don't have a spellcaster that needs it, that's great. Or once per long rest, you can get a paralyzing crit, which is fantastic. Amulet of Restoration is pretty good until you have your bonus actions being picked up by the ring. And then for the rings, so the risky ring is an important item for this build. It gives you advantage on attack rolls, but you receive disadvantage on saving throws. So it kind of makes it pretty tough to start making saving throws. So really what you want to do is either have a corner that you can hide around after you shoot your bow, or maybe a paladin standing near you to help you out with your saving throws. That's one of the reasons I have this Amulet of the Harpers on. It makes it to where I take normal wisdom saving throws, right? So, you know, take it or leave it. It is what it is. With the risky ring, it's very easy to put on Sharpshooter. Again, I don't have Sharpshooter on, and without Sharpshooter, you'll see that I still have a pretty good chance to hit a lot of the times. I'm going to take the ring off. And then for bows, the best bow to me is probably the legendary bow. It's just so solid. It's amazing. It also gives you haste, which will give you another shot. Or you can use the dead shot. So dead shot is fantastic, especially for when you're putting on Sharpshooter. That would just do so much more extra damage. So what we're going to do is we're just going to throw on the dead shot. So you'll notice that I have 2 bonus to crit. And we can also drink a viciousness potion. That'll give us another bonus to crit. So then we're critting on 16s, which is really nice. So here, look. Elixir of Viciousness. All right, and then alternatively, other than Bloodthirst, you can also use the Knife of the Undermountain King. You get this really early on at the basically the end of Act 1 before you head to Act 2. You can just buy this from the Gith vendor. And again, this is the same thing. It does basically +1 to crit. We'll just go ahead and throw this on as well. Finally, the Shield of the Undevout. I really like this thing because it gives them disadvantage on all saving throws that inflict a fear. And as you've noticed, I've picked up quite a bit of fears through here. Dissonant Whispers, Fear. There's quite a few little options that work great. So it's not a bad little shield, and it also gives me an extra level 1 spell slot. As you see, I have 5 here. So I'm going to ungroup him, and we're going to go into town and take a look. All right, so we are at the barracks where all the Flaming Fists are. I'm sure we're going to get beat up pretty good here, but what we're going to do is go ahead and initiate here and see what happens. So again, most of your damage is going to come from Slashing Flourish here, right? So let's go ahead and pump a couple shots. You see, I still have a 95% chance to hit. I'm not going to crit right now.
You murdered someone in view of a guard.
Yeah, instantly dies. All right, let's open this fight. All right, so like I said, kind of have insane amount of damage here. All right, so we are not ensnared. All right, well, I was gonna try to break out of that first. So we're gonna walk over here, find our Slashing Flourish on our bars. That's really the only one we're gonna need. There it is. And as you can see, I still have a 95% chance to hit with this setup because this is giving me double my proficiency bonus. So honestly, the risky ring is really not even needed. And like I said, I don't even have it on. It would be 99% chance to succeed if it were on. So we're going to go ahead and use the Slashing Flourish here. All right, we did roll the nat 1 somehow. But as you can see, so it does quite a bit of damage here. So each shot is going to do the 1d8 from the bow, plus the 2 from archery. And then it does your dex modifier. And then it does a 1d10 of piercing from your Slashing Flourish. So that applies to both here. We'll go ahead and do it again. Slashing First Range. So I'm going to only hit her once. Hit this lady once as well. All right. So she actually got killed by Call of the Week, which isn't important for the build, but it's something you can pick up. You can see I've got a few different illithid powers. All right, cool. So we've shot, what's that, twice? I'm not 100% sure why I'm getting another shot here, but we'll take advantage of it. All right. At this point in time, we can go ahead and action surge, fire another volley of attacks, and do all kinds of stuff. But for the sake of showing you guys kind of how the build works, so you'd be able to do this as a bonus action, not an action. I don't have the ring on again, right? So you'd be able to do it as a bonus action. But what you can do here is we could do Dissonant Whispers. Hold on, not Dissonant Whispers. Here we go. Hold Person. So let's say we cast Hold Person as a level 5. So now we're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4 targets here, right? How many people do we have near us? I'm only seeing 3 where we're at. So let's see if maybe I can get him from here. Out of line of sight. Maybe it'll let me do it. Come on. Oh, well, picked up another guard. There it is. So you see the percent chance to succeed now is 100%. And again, that's because of this little buff here, Arcane Acuity. So watch, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this is part 2 of building this class. You can see I have a really crappy bow on, but just ignore that. Don't worry about it. So this is if you didn't pick up the gloves to give you the 18 dexterity. And let's say maybe you have this amulet instead. So what you're able to do is when you have the amulet, you can just dump all your con. So now our con's 23. We put more points into dexterity and charisma. And again, you can drop this dexterity by 2 and pick up sharpshooter if you want. But I just, again, wasn't doing that. I was just trying to do consistent damage. And it's the same type of thing. We get the Helmet of Arcane Acuity to get us crazy bonuses to our spell save DC. Cloak doesn't matter. Chest really doesn't matter. Honestly, with this one, you just want to use the exotic gear chest. I don't know if I have one on this run through. I kind of ran through everything. So I'm using the Hell Dust Gloves because if you've got the Amulet of Greater Health, you probably have the Hell Dust Gloves. And it's going to give you another bonus to your spell save DC, and every attack's going to do an extra 1d6, which is fantastic. Using the Hell Dust Boots, similar reason. And then we get the Strange Conduit Ring. This thing's great when you're concentrating. You do an extra 1d4 psychic damage. So we're critting a lot with this build. So psychic damage is great. And then here it is. The Mystic Scoundrel is the required ring. And this is what makes it so fun when you can do the bonus action attacks. And then we're using Bloodthirsty. But again, you can just use the Act 2 sword or little knife as well. It does the exact same thing. And then Shielding the Undevout, it gives them disadvantage on saves against your fears. And you've got a ton of fears. You know, Dissonant Whispers, Fear. I believe there's another couple ones, but they're not bad. So it just gives them an additional disadvantage, which really helps you, especially when you don't have full stacks of Arcane Acuity. Maybe you only have 3 or 4 stacks, and you're like, oh crap, I really need this spell to go off. So it'll just help you with consistency there. And it's a nice shield that also gives you an extra level 1 spell slot. That's why we have 5. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the showcase, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.